Hello, welcome to another episode of Commander Fodder. So, in keeping with trying to sync up sets with what I'm covering in deck musings and what I'm covering in artwork flip-throughs, I've decided to base today's episode of Commander Fodder around Ice Age. So, as I usually do, I hopped onto the MTGen website, opened up 6 virtual packs of Ice Age and to see what would happen. So interestingly, out of the 6 cards, I had a legendary. I had Merieke. So Merieke, white, blue, black, does not untap during your untap phase. It's 1/1 and tap, gain control of target creature. Lose control of that creature if you lose control of Merieke. If Merieke leaves play or becomes untapped, bury the creature. So yeah, it's interesting because you're obviously tapping to gain control of a target creature. And as you can see, there doesn't appear to be here any way of untapping. It says does not untap during your untap phase. It doesn't say you can choose to or may. You can choose to have it stay tapped. In the same card pool, I got in white a Eldoran Knight, so that's 2 white with banding. It's 1 and a white, and you get fire breathing, and then 2 white you get, I believe, what is referred to as bottom breathing. We have Time Bomb, so 4. And during your upkeep, put a time counter on Time Bomb. 1 tap, sacrifice Time Bomb to have it deal star damage to each creature and player where star is equal to the number of time counters on Time Bomb. And then this Illusions of Grandeur, which is a really interesting card. It's 3 and a blue. It's actually an enchantment. Has a cumulative upkeep of 2 on it. So it can get expensive over time to keep it in play. When Illusions of Grandeur comes into play, gain 20 life. When it leaves play, you lose 20 life. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter this loss of life. So that was 4 out of the 6. And I decided, as seeing as there was a legendary in there, I would have that as my commander. And then as these were on colour, or had no colour in the case of Time Bomb, I'd actually stick them in the deck as well. Out of all the cards I was most interested in playing, it was this, because I was thinking of putting together a combo deck. So this is what these cards over at the side here. I just wanted to separate them out for the moment, and I'll drag them in a moment. So I suppose the deck's a bit of a deception in that normally this would be in, I suppose, a theft style deck, this commander, so theft or, I don't know, blink, things like that. It's not a card or a commander that features heavily in, or either actually, on edhrec. You won't be surprised to know. So I'm really curious, bearing that in mind, and the fact that we've got competing strategies, where this actually goes. It's going to be fascinating to see. It's always good when you've got like a suggestion algorithm, and not only are you pushing right up at the edge of its sort of suggestion bubble, or however you want to think about that, but you've pushed right over it because of everything else that's in here. Got some nice land from Ice Age, probably the most important thing. So in the appropriate colours. So let's get in these other cards. So what I wanted is to introduce in things that would push it in the direction of winning with life somehow. So if that's possible, because a lot of the time life gain stops you losing, but we want to find a way of making you win. So this is going to give us a sort of life bump, like a mana bump for or some life ramp, however you want to. I don't know what might be the correct term for it, but I think you know what I mean. So what would be good to have in the deck, which we could win just from that? So we have Felidar Sovereign. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. So the other advantage with having Merieke is I'm hoping that people won't see this coming. It's probably a deck you can only play once, because people con on, or you could play it and then actually turn Merieke into a theft deck. But that's not to say we won't be abusing this this ability. We need to be a bit of icy manipulation here, don't we, really? As well. Like tappity tap, untap, tap. So we can, untap Merieke. Did I say Merieke? Yeah, Merieke as well. In fact, let me just see. Let me just check the wording on Icy Manipulator. Oh no, it's tap. Okay, I don't want that. Don't want that. I'll use the search to find out what I am actually after. I just can't remember the card off the top of my head. So back to this. So I'll drag this in. Again, this might end up getting dropped, but I thought it'd be quite fun to have a fire breather, seeing as fire breathing came up in the episode of deck musings before this, but this is obviously one in white. Felidar Sovereign. Yeah, we got things like Sanguine Bond, so whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So that's a possible another way we can kill an opponent. So this one we're winning the game. And so the other thing is to look at ways we might be able to leverage life gain and kill an opponent that way. The good thing is we're in white as well, so there's other cards we can play which are going to help with that. It's Exquisite Bond. Whenever you gain an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. So we've got also this life loss synergy going on here and giving us more life. So with this and this in play, you're gaining life. Target opponent loses that life. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain life. Yeah, so we will have that. If you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. Oh yes, please. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 50 or more life, you win the game. So slightly slightly higher bar to hit than Felidar Sovereign, and it's not attached to it. It's not like stapled to a creature, but it is less here. So in theory, let me just think about this. 20 life, so that's what turn 4, and that's turn 4. So what's that? You got a turn 5 win, maybe. Yeah. Of course, if someone's got artifact, enchantment, destruction, then yeah, it's going to be a problem. So we're running quite a few enchantments here, But let's see where this goes, because I've not... Yeah, I very rarely will do like a run through of these episodes, because that would destroy the point. This was the episode where it was most tempting because of just how out there this combination of cards might be. So good. So we are going with the life gain shenanigans here. I am curious. I do want to try and see if I can find an artifact that maybe manipulates Merieke or Merieke in some way. I don't think it's going to suggest it though. But there's loads here that help with our actual real win condition, which is winning through having a certain amount of life. Where to start? Because this looks so interesting. Let's look at some playing focus, shall we? Okay. If you have at least 15 life more than your starting life, exile Ajani Strength of Pride and each artifact and creature your opponents control. That's pretty nasty. But have that in. 3 life, gain 3 life. Okay. Why not? Lands. So I suppose, yeah, it makes sense to run all of this stuff, all the different combinations here, plus the functional reprints. So where are we? White, blue. Did they functionally reprint white, black? Well, let's just get these in and see what happens. You know it makes sense. I'll reduce down the land count in a moment, but let's just see. Do I want to... Decisions. So I could run these bounce lands. And actually, that makes a lot of sense because I could bounce back the life lands, couldn't I? Because that's any land. Maybe I'll run that. In the command tower. Do I want to run the sack lands? spending a lot more time in this episode thinking about non-basic lands than I normally do. Why not? So this is going to have to come down quite a bit. Obviously I'll rebalance this once we get to do the goldfish section. Okay. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem there. Okay, so yeah, that is roughly equal, but that will rebalance that if we find that we've got certain problems. Let me just check something here. Nope, still on the network. Okay. So if we were to go in and let's start going through this. So, what sort of instance are we going to get? Well, we need to... Oops. I don't know what happened there. Let's try that again. So, we've got D-Spark, Mortify, Void Rend. We should leverage, actually, the multiple colours here. And get Exile Non. Okay, we've got some destruction spells here, which is cool. Counter. I'll probably run Counterspell and Void Rend, Path. Beacon and a Cyclonic Rift. For starters, we'll come back to that in a moment. Oh yeah. Supreme. So many good stuff here. I think we do really need those. I wouldn't mind a Vindicate. Oh, damn. See that I've got a win condition based on enchantment, so that's why those sweepers might come in handy on there. So that's my logic there. What other enchantments might we want? Well, maybe I should run a prison. So we should get some lock going on here, or just not so much that, but just prevent or make it harder for our opponents to attack us. Okay, that's what I wanted. Untap. Yeah. Because I can enchant. Yeah, this is okay. This is what I was. Another way of doing this. So just going back to my actual commander's ability, being able to tap and untap. You instead exile up to one other target creature you control, then return it under your control. That's an interesting interaction. Okay. "11 enchantments. Yeah, let's settle around that for the moment. Let's look at some artifacts. So this is shaping up to be an interesting deck. So we've got both things going on here. We've got the winning through life gain and also stealing our opponent's stuff. And also, well, yeah. And there's an element of control going on here as well. I should protect my commander. And we should do that as well. Whenever an ability of an equipped creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, copy that ability. You may choose new target. Yep. Okay. Suppose I might as well run a Chromatic Lantern, seeing as it came up. Activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. Untap target creature. Also, do I want to run the signets? Should we just run a full complement? In step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to that finger under your control. So yeah, we're now keeping stuff that we've stolen temporarily. Hand size. Oops. Not want to do that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we have 81 slots, so we better get some creatures in here, I think. And do that now. But is there anything else I'm missing? Not at the moment. So with these creatures, definitely going down more the tap untap type of thing. I'm going to look down the bottom and just see what we've got from the point of view of life gain stuff. wonder if possibly I should have gone into creatures first, but too late. Each other. So it definitely now seems to be moving into more of the stealing stuff, so which is fine. Maybe the that life gain aspect is going to be, you know, heavily invested in a combo thing, and not have necessarily other support cards which just are building up life slowly. Untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. Well, probably run a Mole Drifter. Some card draw there. That looks good. And tap another target permanent you control. Tap target permanent. Eight or more lands. That's an interesting card to play around with. '93, okay. I did see an Enlightened Tutor there. Putting a bit more removal while I have the chance, and other stuff. I think happy with that. Let's just back through some creatures here. Thinking. was thinking I'll have a look anyway. So we've got a number of tappers here and untappers and various other things that can target anything, so we could target our opponent's stuff and then assassinate it. Steal some more stuff. Oops, got one over. Okay, what's our highest cost creature? Yeah, we definitely want these in here. Take out the Valkyrie. So we have our win by life gain combo package, but it does look like this is very much both a tap stuff down and steal stuff deck, so we'll go with the way that went. I don't know if I want to reduce the land count or not. We'll see. We'll do a couple of or a few test hands. Not sure how far I'll be able to test the deck purely by goldfishing it, but we'll see. But before we do that, I'm going to export a copy, seeing as I've been having so much trouble. Oh, look at that. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. Let's do this because it's going to be a bit rubbish. Let's have a look at... actually, it's not far off. I'm going to leave it for the moment. So what might we want to do? Increase the blue at expense of the black. Yeah, okay. Yeah, our curve. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, well, that's good. So I don't have to play around with it that much. Okay, what do we got? 3 land. Good enough. So swamp. Yeah, we could do a turn 2 Signet, which is nice. Most of these non-basic lands are going to come into play tapped. Won't really be able to leverage any of this life gain at the moment. So I might hold back playing that one. So... get our Signet out. Arcane Sanctum. So we've got a Void Rend. We can tutor for, yeah. So we can tutor for our enchantment at this point if we wanted to. One of them. We might want to wait, I suppose. What if we're at 40? The other thing we can do, yeah, we can tutor for a win condition. But of course, when you're doing gold fishing, you're not being done damage, so it's a bit of an idealised situation, I suppose. But plenty of options. Meanwhile, our pretend commander, well, not really actually, because it is going to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's not just going to sit there doing nothing. But, hopefully it might distract our opponents so they don't necessarily see the life gain shenanigans coming. Let's just get that out there. Boom. Yeah, so I suppose if we were at 40 life, and we are in a position, well, we're now in a position to play this actually. Obviously what we could do is what will we can't play the feeder day, we're not going to have enough. Let's just have a look at our library. Okay, so that's a 6-drop. So we can tutor for that. Although, of course, we have to wait until the upkeep. That's the only thing, and in that time, our life could go down. But if we played that on, yeah. It's called cheating a bit here. I'm assuming this is the order in which it's on the library. So that's going to come off anyway. I suppose we really want to just save our Diabolic Tutor and to such a point that our first piece of the combo appears and then we can combo for the second piece. Or we could wait till another tutor comes up, I suppose. In the meantime, we can also be pinching stuff. Oh no, it wasn't the order. So we got a Commander Sphere, we can get that out. And we can crack Evolving Wilds if we want to get access to white mana as well, in addition to what we've got here. We could just get this out and pump our life now. It's not as if it's going to go away. So that might be another thing to do. Ghostly Prism. So we could start to lock down as well. Make it a bit sticky for our opponents. There's a Reliquary Tower. So this is quite nice in terms of setting things up. Another Signet. Yeah. We got a Cyclonic Rift. So this is nice actually. Yeah, Mold Drifter. Okay. But it's going to be a while before we see any of our life combo. There's a Sanguine Bond. Right. Let's have a look. Another hand. 1, 2, 3. And a Soul Ring. And a Diabolic Tutor. Okay. That's pretty cool. Oops. Turn 1 Soul Ring. Tranquil Cove out. Anything else here? could tutor. Okay, good to know. And we could also solemn as well. Nice. So much nicer when you get a soul ring out early. Mother of Ruins. Yeah, Mother of Ruins. Single white, so yeah. If we get this out, of course we can play this the next turn. Yeah, lots of options here. Oh, and there's a blue card anyway, so. That would untap anyway. Make that playable. We could crack that if we wanted to. Get that out. Again, I suppose you've got to be certain cards. Be careful of certain cards which will make our opponents suspicious that there's something else going on in this deck. We certainly don't have a problem with land, put it that way, so I suppose if I did feel like having some other utility cards in, there is some scope for reducing the land count. Yeah, another Soul Ring first turn, and we've got a Solemn and a Sanguine Bond. This is a nice hand. Oh yeah, I forgot we got that out. Oh, there we go. We're in our commander colours already. Rust Angel. Cool. Double black, just in case. Oh, more black. Wow. Yeah. Cyclonic Rift. We've got a Puppeteer. Yeah, okay. It's all coming together nicely. Looks like fun. Well, for us anyway. Okay, so back to the deck. I don't know if at this stage I would want to change anything out. Like I said, I might consider like fiddling around a little bit with the land base. I probably want to do more sample hands before I do that. Trying to think. I mean, there is some other stuff I could do life gain wise, but you know, the sort of cards whose name escapes me at the moment, but the sort of thing where I want to, you know, my life to slowly trickle up, and it, you know, might just look to my opponent. So I've just got cards in there to do that slowly, to stop me from dying quite as quickly, and maybe not realise that there's a win condition in here. And maybe I'm just using life as a resource. Certainly got some nice utility creatures sort of below the 4 CMC mark. It's interesting as well in that the curve is the curve on the creatures isn't great. And well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 was 7 in, and we're already up to 4 CMC. But looking at our other utility, like we've got, you know, all of our, well, most of our artifacts are 3 casting cost or below. Let's get a little bit high here. This isn't too bad. And our instance, yeah, again. So we've got a lot of utility that's fairly, cheap to cast. It's just really our creatures, and there's not that many, comparatively speaking. I mean, there's only 21 in this deck. I haven't seen either other planeswalkers yet in our sample hands either. So there we have it. I think I'll stop there. I'm not going to do any more sample hands. I'll include the deck listing as well, if it's a deck you want to play around with. Yeah, in terms of the price, if you're looking to shave something off the price here, what would I probably cut? So there's probably quite expensive. Yeah, so these tutor cards are so handy. There might be some cheaper tutors, particularly Demonic Tutor. The Vindicate's not too expensive. Supreme Verdict. Yeah, again, there's going to be some cheaper sweepers. Certainly you could substitute out. I find utility creatures always a bit tricky. Well, there's some other stuff here you may just not want to run. Maybe take that one, the white creature out. It doesn't really do anything. Well, I suppose it's a mana sink. We really want to throw our opponent. What the hell is he doing with a white flame breathing, bottom breathing knight? Oh yeah, Thassa. Yeah, if you want to take the protein, you might want to cut that. Deadeye Navigator, maybe. And the enchantment section is, very pricey. Is that because of the exquisite blood? Yeah, part of it. Illusions of Grandeur. Yeah, I don't know whether there was much we could do here to make this cheaper. This has such useful utility on it. I don't know if I would want to get rid of it. I don't know if there is a cheaper alternative to Exquisite Blood. There's probably a creature with this sort of spell, the staple to this might be like slightly more expensive, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. So, yeah, another one where I imagine what you could do is you could build the core of this deck reasonably cheaply and then just add in whatever cards you felt would be interesting to play with it. And of course, for this episode, I just happened to choose Merieke because that was in the virtual pool that I opened. Yeah, there's probably going to be a better synergistic card for Illusions of Grandeur, which was originally the card that I wanted to definitely play out of the card pool. So yeah, that's another thing to consider here. It just happened that I thought it was pretty cool to have a deck that looks like it's a theft deck, particularly where this particular commander, if you look at edhrec, you don't see many decks generally. But then to have this win by life gain combo in there. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.